sounds like it's a done deal, that it's sold. They have offers on it, so what can we do at this point?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't.
What can we do?
Yeah. I'll let some discussion happen here.
Well, when a building like this has been preserved and is on the historical register, are there any stipulations of when it changes ownerships to protect it at all?
There are not.
It gets taken off the register.
It could, if so. In the case of the state register, I guess buildings can be delisted, is the technical term. Buildings are definitely delisted from the national register if they lose their integrity, which can be a euphemistic way of saying the building has been demolished. It's now lost its integrity. It doesn't exist any longer. But it could also be it's lost so many features. It's been changed so radically. Half the building was removed. Half the building was turned into a big glass tower, type of a thing. That can change integrity. But delisting can happen. Again, the state register is not quite as consequential as the national register is. So that generally doesn't happen. The state can come and take back its green sign. That would be the potential impact. Yeah.
Honestly, that's a large piece of property for a relatively small price. And it would not surprise me at all if someone bought that just for the property and didn't give a damn about the building.
But isn't there a way, and we've been observing this over the last 40 years, where people will buy something and they have their own vision and they don't take into consideration what was here and what is here. I hope that the powers that be will look at the bids carefully, and hopefully we can work with the owner to maintain the exterior integrity of that building. Maybe they want to do something entirely different with the interior, but if they could keep the facade and the side of the building to maintain that integrity and the historical significance of our area, I think that would be great. Mm-hmm. But I think we can't just bombard them. We need to have a collaboration and a cooperation.
Eric, do we have any idea of who's put bids in and what purpose they have in mind?
I do not.
I'm going to take off on that, not only speak with the new owner, but with their architect.
Well, yeah.
That's very important, because then they get a better concept of what the village looks like, and then get them to take, if it's not a local architect, to take a look around our village and see if they can't understand why we like to keep it as is on the outside.
Jerry, can you speak to that at all? Or are you under a gag order?
Only by her. Can I stand up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to be, first of all, real clear when I say I'm not speaking officially on behalf of council or the city of Douglas. Okay? I'm speaking as a resident, taxpayer, voter, and that's the last rung in the ladder, if you will. So what I can tell you is 2 years of mayor, we had came to that point of, okay, wait a minute, how functional is this for current day government? Okay? When you walk into here, we have a secure lobby, maybe about 8 by 10. Not very welcoming, not very functional, except for security. And that's why it was installed, okay? The building itself, if we were to stay, would require about $1 million in maintenance, upkeep, and renovations, okay? And that's not including anything done to the second floor. We're just talking about the structure, the bones, as the real estate people would say. So the decision was made to coordinate City Hall, police, out to 415 Wiley, okay? And in order to finance that, yeah, we did a bond as sort of a bridge to get us our renovation, our new build out there for both police as well as the city, okay? Now, by the grace of God, the fire department has taken a very active interest in locating out there, which on my time as council and 2 years as mayor, I had advocated wholeheartedly that right now our fire protection is on the very corner of the township. So everything they do has to go, they say response time going to Oval Beach, which may not sound like a lot until you're the one out there having the heart attack, okay? So from a logistical and cost-saving standpoint, it did nothing but make sense, okay? Now, number one is, I always look at government like this. What's the problem? What's the solution? What's it going to cost? And who's going to pay? It all pretty much breaks down to that, okay? We need to locate out there for the better operation of the entire city. And the fire department is just another bonus. That said, we're going to pay for it by taking surplus property that we have and get out of the property owning business, if you will. We've already sold a pot out on 66th Street that, in my opinion, we never should have bought in the first place. We have, as you may know, what we call the 17 clean acres out across from Summer Grove, actively working for somebody to come and acquire that property with developing it with a main focal on affordable, attainable workforce, whatever you want to call it, housing, so that full-time residents, young folks, families can perhaps locate here on a full-time basis, okay? And this played into it, 17 acres, police department, 66th Street.
Oxbow,
What is it?
Oxbow,
Yeah, Oxbow, thank you. Yeah, the one right there, I didn't remember. But yeah, that one's already been sold and closed, so is 66th Street. So, now, the important thing that I know we're all, who's going to buy it and what are they going to do with it, okay? We're taking a particular keen interest in what the purpose the potential buyer may have for this property, okay? I can't guarantee you 1,000%, and once again, I'm not speaking on behalf of the city of Douglas, but I don't ever foresee a wrecking ball touching that. First of all, you have to get a demo permit from Douglas. Welcome to government, okay? Second thing is, one of the things we take into consideration is the passion of the purchaser, okay? We have several interested parties who are wanting to acquire it for the purpose of keeping the integrity, the structure. They get it, okay? They're not wanting to say, hey, we're going to go up third story, we're not going to let you. Hey, we're going to do this and that. Well, if anybody's worked with our planning and zoning department, good luck. But that being said, a big component is what's the future use going to be? And it's a great point. Boy, that's a valuable little lot right there. But fact is, it's always going to be, in my opinion, a structure, and will always have the historical significance. And a couple of people interested have expressed a deep desire to keep that component going, you know, so hope I didn't hijack the conversation, but
No,
any
that's,
questions?
Wait, I know you can probably incentive for a Q&A, but based on what you're saying, what's stopping the city from actually putting in legally binding language in any sort of purchase agreement? Like, why would you even risk it?
Again,
Yeah.
it's not that it can't be done, nor it won't be done. I'm just not going to guarantee you that it will be done.
Is it being actively talked about though by the city?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
if you're gonna do usage, they're gonna have to solve the parking problem.
What parking problem? We want a parking problem.
We have one.
You let people do it all the
You
time.
gotta get it through the planning commission.
Well, as far as the parking goes, there seems to be a lot of it, okay? And again, when you come down to downtown Douglas, you may have to look for a minute, but it's nothing like across the bridge, okay? And we have parking around in the back of a lot of these buildings, which we've tried to improve the awareness of with signage, okay? So we're just gonna take it one step at a time.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, if he comes in and wants to put in retail stores or any
Right.
apartments upstairs,
They have talked
the
about,
ordinance talks about parking.
some of the people have talked about upper floor residential,
Right.
okay?
And that's legal.
Yeah, yeah. And again, what was a driving force in a portion of this was we had the commercial people in downtown Douglas saying, look, we don't want real estate offices down here. We want commercial, we want retail, we want businesses, we want restaurants. That's what they want down here. Because once you do that, everybody benefits. So,
There also was a study done that we had done several years ago, is that you want to keep as much as your public government downtown, so that people will come down, like the post office, you know, things like that, draws people downtown.
I agree. It draws people downtown, but what we have seen by and large, they come, they get their mail, they go.
Well, yeah,
You
that's,
know,
Yeah.
what draws people downtown is shops, galleries, restaurants, things of that nature. And I understand what you're saying, yeah, with the post office and city hall and all that, yeah, we're gonna get people downtown. It's traffic, but does it benefit the commercial aspect of it?
well, they gave knowledge that there is commercial downtown.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't know that how much commercial is down there.
Oh,
The
trust
only
me,
thing
I've
is
been dealing with
the
that
records.
yeah, we've been dealing with that.
The records.
And I like to think that it's taken a major uptick, the awareness of, we all know downtown Douglas, we can tell all the stories, but it's the tourists who, you know, I've had dozens of people come down and think they're in downtown Saugatuck first, and I'm like, hey, whatever gets them here. And second is, they come down there and they said, I've been coming here for 15 years, I never knew you guys were down here.
That's right.
So our signage, you know, that helps, but we still need better and more.
Well, it's been changed how many times?
Once in the
Out on
last,
Blue Star and down on.
I think
All right.
we've got a permanent one out there now.
Yeah. I'm going to shift the conversation back to some of our other folks here in the room.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't- like I said,
no, that's all right. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. No, thank you for sharing some information from the council side of this. Yeah. Other comments or reactions or experiences or stories to share about Dutcher Lodge, about, yeah. Yeah, if you'd like to, yeah. If you'd like to, Judy, do you want to speak on this?
Okay. I want to see who was behind me. Is anybody else on the Douglas Historical Preservation Committee with me? That started all this about saving the lodge? Oh, good, I can say stuff and not be corrected.
Do you have the other mic?
It was so fun watching the photos, because my name's Judy Anthrop and I was a major.
We're gonna have you
Oh,
click this
okay.
on if that's all right.
All
Can you
right.
do it? Okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
thank you. A major player in the whole process. It took us 10 years, but there were people working on it before us. And the Douglas Historical Preservation Committee, like he said, was affiliated, you might say, to the city. But the city had, at the time, the government had no interest in any type of preservation, none at all. And our group also introduced the idea of historic districting in Douglas, and that was a war that couldn't end. People were lined up to shoot us because we were bringing up the idea of maybe even just zoning a section of the town so that some of these things could be regulated a bit more. So that never worked. We did spend $17,000 on a company that came in and showed us what needs to happen in this downtown. And that recommendation was that you must always, no matter what, big city, little city, keep your municipal things downtown. Keep your library downtown, keep your post office downtown, your police department, and mostly your government. Keep it all downtown if you want to survive. And the other one was that, and then they broke it down for us how much, that you had to have at least a third of restaurants and such. So it's pulling on my heartstrings a little bit when we say, let's get this stuff all out of here. And I understand it. He did a good job explaining what's happening. One thing is, you didn't mention how much millions it's going to cost to redo that building out there.
3.3.
That's buying it.
No, it's 1.5 to buy, 3.2.
Oh, okay, so you're 3.5 approximately.
Right.
Okay, and then I just wanted to say something about the group of us that did more or less save the Dutcher Lodge. And we did start out with selling cookies and donuts and stuff like that. And then finally, we came up with the idea of having Oktoberfest. And the Oktoberfest was held out in the street, blocked off with a big tent. And the first year, we made $12,000. So we were pretty excited about Oktoberfest. So the next year, we did it again. And I think we, again, were in the $7,000 to $10,000 range of money. So we could do things to Dutcher Lodge. The front doors were $7,000. They happened to disappear, so we never got them. But we did the roof, we did the windows, we did lots of physical structure there. So, and the city had condemned it. I mean, it was a mess in there. I wish we probably have some interior of what it was like.
I wish we had more.
Yeah.
Not super
I might have some. Yeah, so anyway, and the building itself, according to all of you and the people that I've met here, was a social gathering place. The garden club had their flower awards, there were weddings, there were everything social about the community. If there was a community meeting, that the building was, yes, the Masons had some rights to it, but when they sold it, the only right they had was to go upstairs, and the city never honored finishing off the upstairs for them. And they were older and didn't have attorneys and money to try to pursue what they had been promised. And then I think I just wrote down a couple things. I think that's all I have to say, really. It was fun to see all those pictures because when we saw them, Rick Thompson and I put the green sign in front of the Dutcher Lodge. Rick Thompson and I put the National Historic Registry building in front of this building. I just saw so much that the Douglas Historical Preservation Committee did for this community. And the reason we aren't here today is because the city council didn't really want us around. And that I can prove that by showing some documents. They no longer wanted to do some of the ideas that we had. So we disbanded. And since we were a nonprofit, when it goes out of business, you might say, has to give their money to another nonprofit. So I really don't remember the number, but I think it was somewhere between $7,000 and $13,000 that we had, somewhere in that number range, that we gave to the Historical Society here, because they were our buddies in the process.
Nonprofit.
Yeah, and nonprofit. I think. Oh, and that sign that's on the building, on the Dutcher Lodge, and he had a picture of it. There you go. That took us almost 8 years to get with the city. They didn't want to, do that. So we raised the money for it, and it took me probably 6 to 7 years to get them to do it. And the reason I knew, because we left $1,500 in the coffers at the city to do that sign. And so that eventually, with the help of Matt Baumer from Everyday People, he had written me a letter that he personally would take care of it and make it happen. So we did get it done, and we've always got to have a party just because we got that sign, but we haven't done that yet. And there's a few of us left. So, and the reason Tom and I moved to Douglas was because I have a big history in the East and historical preservation and respect for old buildings. And the Dutcher Lodge was pulling on my heartstrings to say, well, let's just move down there and get involved. And then the same thing with the schoolhouse here. I was a person that raising the money, not just me, other people, but my husband was the,
In between the Historical Society Board
yeah.
and the contractor. If they told me, well, we got $20,000 on donation for the old schoolhouse, I'd go and say, let's do the next segment for $20,000.
Well, I guess that was construction management, basically.
Yeah.
So we're attached here and love this town and love how it looks. And I know it's going to change, it just does. But you know what? We've saved a lot of things here of importance, and this group is now 700 people. That's an incredible thing, really incredible. So really proud to have you here.
Thank you to Judy and to all the volunteers. It is appropriate, I think, connection that she brought out, that all the work that went on for 15 years to rehabilitate and save, bring Dutcher Lodge back from being condemned to in 2005. It's in 2006 that this building is up for sale. And Nancy Budd, who owned this building, was a friend of was favorable to the Historical Society History Center, and the members at the time here at the society took on the incredible task to purchase this building. The 2 acres of land that are here, that would have almost certainly this building would be gone and would have been redeveloped, and raised $1.5 million in 2010's money to give us the space that we're in right now, both the great historical treasure of this building and the modern facilities that we have here for programs like this. So preservation matters. You matter, your voices matter, your donations matter, your time matters, whether it's a beer at Oktoberfest, right? Or whether it's a sponsorship or a major gift. So, are there other comments or ideas or things you'd like to share? Yeah.
Something totally different, but still on the idea of Preservation Month. I'm on the board of the Felt Mansion. And for years, Patty Meyer did so much work and got the chapel there, got the state to lease the carriage house to us. She got that remodeled and did a lot of interior work. But now we've had a study and found there's a lot of damage to the exterior of that building that age and water have caused. And so many of you may have gotten a letter recently asking, so what would you like to do to help? To either volunteer or become a member or make a donation or just in some way help. So just please think of that.
Thanks.
Call the Vatican.
Well, yeah, actually, to him too.
A higher. Other questions, comments? Bert, you had your hand up, yeah?
I couldn't help but noticing, but it could be very deceptive. In some of the older aerial photos, it looked like the space in front of the Dutcher was fairly small and narrow. Mm-hmm. And if I perceptualize that now, if that's a word, to what I see now, and one of the aerials showed that too, did the sidewalk get moved into the center of the street more, or but then that shouldn't fit with what is across the street?
Mm-hmm. I think there was some of you have been here a lot longer. Wasn't there a significant change in the alignment of Center Street? Yes. Both the grade, both vertical, and maybe the width alignment of the street? Yeah.
Create a view
to the, water, to the river.
So it's probably a park straight line.
Yeah,
Just one other fun point.
yeah,
When the committee set up the Oktoberfest in front of the building there in the street, I mean, we had good turnout, raised lots of money. We were so excited that we'd keep going there till our wonderful fire department said, no, you can't block the street. We can't get our trucks. And I said, where the hell are you going that you can't get to all the buildings around here? Well, anyway, you lost the argument. And so we had to move to the park. And I think that lowered some of the income.
gotcha, gotcha.
Everybody loved coming to a street party.
It's true, yeah. Good story, good memory. Other thoughts? Any other final thoughts? You've been a great audience. We've been here for, it's about 7:30 now, so we've had a lot of discussion and learned a lot about this. I would encourage you, while the process is moving forward, I think ultimately this is a political process and this is a small community and your voices matter. So if you have opinions about the importance of this site and, there's an opportunity there to talk to your neighbors and letters to the editor and good old grassroots activism that makes a huge difference. And I think the idea shared earlier, I think we don't know what will happen or who will, the future of the building, but there is always an opportunity to educate and advocate for this. So we will watch that. And if you have ideas, I'm happy to listen to you and talk to those and try to provide a voice for those as well. Thank you. Thank you.